Okay, and today's routine, the rubber band man, looking for the finisher, which we'll get to in due course. Before then, though, we've got two Tabata circuits, linear Tabata. The first circuit, you're going to need a kettlebell. We've got some swings, some split jerk press, some rows, so a bit of variety is great if you've got it. The second circuit then will be some light hammer-weights, dumbbells. Okay, anyway, let's get warmed up first, and I'll go through the details with you. Right, just jogging up the floor first. Ten chest wall. Stretch the chest. Pull the shoulder blades together. Step forward, step back. We're doing linear Tabata, 2 circuits to do. Tabata is basically a 20-10 ratio, work to rest. 20 seconds full tilt, or as hard as you can work. 10 seconds rest, and then on again. We're doing linear, which means you just go one exercise, next one, next one, next one, next one, back to the start. Okay? 5 exercises, 6 rounds. Okay? So 30 sets total. So we need to know then, these are 5 exercises. Number 1 then is swings. Regular swings, no frills today. So 20 seconds, full tilt. From there, through the thigh triangle. Okay, so there. Hinge it up. Okay, there. Using your glutes and your hamstrings. Don't squat your swing. So don't do this. Make sure it's that. See the path? The path of the kettlebell is like. Okay. Right, number 2. Overhand row to high pull. This is a good one. When you first start out with kettlebells, people often confuse the difference between like an upright row, a high pull, a regular bent over row. This time you're switching between bent over row and a high pull. So it kind of gets in there, the differential between the two. So, overhand row to high pull. So you're gripping it like that. Both of them should come from between the feet. Your overhand row, make sure you're engaging your glutes, so pushing your knees out. And look where my hips are, the back. Okay, my torso is nearly parallel to the floor. So on that one, on the first part, row to the belly. Okay, my torso stays exactly where it is. There's no hip extension. The second part, I'm exploding up with the hips and taking that kettlebell up just below eye level, chin level sort of area, leading with the elbows and then back. So, one is all about sort of tension under control. The second one is explosive, more about power. So you row like a bodybuilder and then pull like a powerlifter. Okay, so it's like this. Overhand row to belly button and then bang, explode up, pull it up high. Row, pull. Row, pull. Okay? That's exercise 2. Exercise 3 and 4. Jerk press or split jerk press. So, wrap the kettlebell. You're going to do one side then the other. It's just a little dip of the legs and a push. Okay? So push press, jerk press, split jerk press if you're a bit more advanced. So as you push up, you go in that split position up on the side. Okay? But don't worry, if you're new to it, push press comes first. Just dip the knees and press. Dip the knees, press. Okay, then you're going to do the other side. So push press, 20 seconds. Okay, perhaps a split jerk press. Again, comes with practice. The last one, a little bit of core, so V-sits. You can leave your kettlebell there. Just going to reach for your toes, leg raise, and crunch simultaneously, getting as close to your toes as you can. If you can't reach your toes, that's fine. Just go knees or whatever you can do. Okay, right. Here we go then. 30 sets back to back. Twenty seconds on, 10 seconds rest. Okay. Right, swings first then. Nearly there. Okay. Right, good ball then. And body weight. Here's your 5 drills. Right, dumbbell thrusters. So it's a relatively light thruster. Okay, so hopefully you can get plenty in 20 seconds. Dumbbells at your shoulders. Raise your elbows a little bit. That allows you to get to depth in your squat. Press. Aim to cover your ears. Okay, when you press, you're pushing your head through your arms. You don't be like this. Okay? Cover your ears. So squat and press. Full depth. Okay. Right. Number 2. Dive bombers. You drop your dumbbells for a second. Now this can be one of 2 things. So you're into that upward dog. Then my elbows are going to drop towards the ground and come in that. And then back into that upward dog. Push back. So the chest just sweeping the floor. Now I know that is extremely tough, that one. It's harder than normal push-ups, and normal push-ups done correctly, as we know, are really tough as well. So what you can do is just upward dog, drop to the knees, press up, upward dog, so you can do this. Sorry, downward dog, drop, press up. Push up, drop the knees, press up. Okay? I'd rather you do that and get the angles correct. And by that I mean this arrow, not T, arrow. Shoulders down, so your lats are engaged. You can see the difference, how much more you've got to assist. So master that first, and the rest will follow. Okay, after that, squat to 4 jabs. It's quite deceptively tough, this one, because you're essentially holding an isometric squat while throwing the dumbbells out. You can hold the dumbbells up cheekbone level, I suppose. Drop into that squat again, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Throw them out fast, back out. Okay? Down, 4 jabs, back up. You want to get them nice and straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do that with a little bit of twisting movement. Anyway, do the best you can. Drop in the dumbbells again for some half burpees. So the half burpees, you're not coming up. You're just going into that. You can either do chest to floor or not. You come in, and I'm just raising the hands off the floor, my hips stay deep, and then my hands go back. Very tough for some people, that. If you'd rather do normal burpees, that's fine. Adapt to suit. And the last one is your rifle carry. So take those dumbbells up above your head and just jog lightly on the spot. Okay, it's a little bit of recovery, that one. And then we're back in. Okay, right. Alright then. Everybody ready for circuit 2? Same again, full tilt 20 seconds, 10 seconds rest. Light exercises, 6 rounds. Right, here we go.
off the juice, not regretting all I wanted, never stop me rolling through. Running from the morning in and out.
Go to Brooklyn!
I keep on falling for the moon. Ooh, I ain't never coming to free. More drinks and then I'm coming on to you. Four, more life until it's like a living through. Six, sacrifice what I wanna do. Whoa. Yeah, picking up and everybody's picking up. I wanna live it up, I've never been no good at us. And I can feel the love around me, I can feel the love. It's like I'm drowning but I'm proud I couldn't give up. Ooh, I ain't never coming to free. More drinks and then I'm coming on to you. Four, more life until it's like a living through. The same sacrifice what I wanna do. Whoa.
Right, the fun's not over. We've got the finisher now. Rubber band man. Have a little breather first though. You'll need a mat. And that's it. Everything else, no way. We have got total mobility coming right after this. Half an hour of deep stretching, well worth saying. Reset the system after you've broken down with this routine. That total mobility will build you back up again, reset everything. The endocrine system, the hormones, the nervous system, it all gets reset. Anyway, before we get there, we have rubber band man. This is what you're doing. You've got some choices here. So you're going to go from 12 reps, 12 burpees, 12 deck squats, reverse burpee, I guess. 10, 10, 8, 8, 6, 6, 4, 4, 2, 2, 1, no, not 1, 2, 2, done. It's all the evens. Okay? Now, the deck squat, if you haven't got full mobility, you'll struggle with. So you can do like a power sit-up instead, which just sets you up for a deck squat. Okay, so the deck squat should be to the fair, plant the feet, and up. Okay, but they are very tough. If you can do them fairly rapidly, just using one hand, maybe you can do that. So there, just put that hand down and up. Okay, you might get away with that. Okay, any more than that, and it's taking you a bit longer, then I'd probably just stick with sit-ups. Okay, so do your 12 burpees. Fast as you can, chest to the floor if you can, get a couple over the head. Then do your 12 deck squats or sit-ups. Okay, you can power sit up, reach the floor, throw your arms forward, reach your feet. 12 of them. 10 burpees, 10, 8, 8, 6, 6. All the way through as fast as you can. So you literally bang, 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 front, back, front, back, front, back, front, back. Okay? And if you can, do those deck squats, then obviously do them. If you do struggle with them though, again, it's worth considering to stay and do the mobility, because that will, ultimately that's what's going to get you. It's not so much strength, it is strength, don't get me wrong, but mobility is massively important for deck squats. Because you're squatting at depth, aren't you? Anyway, we've got a 6-minute time cap. It's shame to turn it off, but I don't mind, I'm going to have the feed. We'll go back so, 12, 12, minus 2, all the way down to 2. You've got plenty of time. Ready, 3, 2, go! that, that still leaves me flat on my back because the fitter you get, the faster you go. So it never, ever, ever gets easier. It gets more comfortable, but it never gets easier. Right, well done everybody. Back in just a minute with Total Mobility. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for subscribing.